Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel the pride. It's just enough Heshy. Wanna vote for Heshy? It's just enough Heshy. Join the crowd, it's messy.
Now we got both internets up. Both. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. We got you started. Welcome, YouTube fans. Welcome, Facebook fans. And I'm going to tell you about the week I had. Wow, wow, wow. Plus the week with Donald Trump. Wow. I mean, what week? 2 weeks. I mean, you can see that the world is changing. You can see things are getting better. I'm just excited. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for myself. We're going to talk about my election like we always talk about. But a lot of things happened this week with my competitor, Simcha Felder, which I posted a video of him sleeping at his desk. I mean, nothing new with that man. He sleeps half the time and doesn't do anything. I know I'm not allowed to knock him, but I'm going to knock a bunch of things about him. And we have to talk about New York City. I know that people think that the president will solve New York problems, but they won't be solved. We need us to solve them. We need to have him do so many good things and then use his progress to and implement and make our city better, because it's falling apart. I mean, little kids being shot on the street, policemen just standing around doing nothing. I mean, I can keep complaining to you all the time. And, you know, I was a little depressed this week. And I said when what happened in court, I had a good day on Monday, and then Tuesday was a bad day, and today was not such a good day. And I got back to my office this afternoon, I said, you know what? Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's really not. And a guy was sitting there with me, one of my clients says, Heshy, I see that you're a little down. I said, I'm being overwhelmed because every which way I turn, even with my clients, I know how to fix their problems. But even my problems, I'm trying to fix it, you know. I have my campaign, and then my campaign manager says, Heshy, this has to get done, and you better go there. And then my treasurer says, you have to do this, and they're right, and they know that I have to give them the time if you want to have this campaign running right, and these guys are professionals. And I'm trying to fix people's problems who are in trouble, and they don't understand that that's what I do. But their job is to get me elected so I can do my job better. And I agree with them. And then you're talking, I have people for like the city agencies just thinking they can get away with stuff. And look what Donald Trump is doing. He's firing government agencies. He's doing exactly what I've been telling you, that we could cut our budget by billions and billions of dollars if we just shrink government jobs. The government is just overtaking us. And that's what we have to do. That way we can sink prices of food, sink prices of gas. I mean, today I was just driving my car. I was so scared to even go buy more gas, waiting for it to go down, trying to use every little bunch. You guys think it's going down. You know, I was complaining about eggs, and my partner was screaming at me, Heshy, you don't know what you're talking about. And today I saw on television a lady from a Democrat was screaming, Heshy, it's $7 an egg. It's $7, not Heshy, but she was saying $7 a dozen eggs. It's $9 a dozen eggs. And they're trying to blame Donald Trump for it. Why isn't Donald Trump lowering the egg prices? He's only there 2 weeks, and it was the Democrats that did this. I want to say hello to Courtney, Infinite Justice, Black Beauty, Rachel, how are you? Welcome to the show. I want to get to the show early, but I want to tell all of you something that's on my mind, okay? And I'm going to now welcome our listeners from WNEW 102.7 FM, HEV. Welcome to the show. WSNR, Channel 620 AM, our flagship station, and WJPR 1640 AM, Miami, which I want to go down so badly for vacation. Welcome to the show. I was ready to just stop when Simcha Felder again attacked me. He called my rabbi again. He sends clips of the show. I know he's watching it, complaining that I'm talking about him. Of course I'm talking about him. You are a bad man. And the reason I say he's a bad man is because he's doing nothing. You know, he finally got on WhatsApp and he says to everybody, well, Maimonides is bad. But when we asked you about Maimonides to help us a couple of years ago, you switched sides and you went to help them. Now you're upset with them? What, they didn't give you enough money for this new campaign for city councilman? Do you know that he does not live in New York City? He's the state senator, and I'm standing in court arguing that he doesn't live here. He has a little apartment on Ocean Parkway, and we were in there, and he wasn't even there. And it's very badly furnished for a state senator that just sold his house for $1 million a couple of blocks away. Even the picture, the wedding picture, is not from his family. And then the lady who signed the paper for the exterminator wasn't even the same signature. And we went to court, and finally his lawyer admitted, yes, he goes to Lakewood every weekend. He's there every holiday. So that's 130 days a year he spends in New Jersey. Not with us. He's not here on the times that we need him. And he's a New York State senator. And you know, the law is very simple. That where you end up at on your weekends is that's where you place you reside. You know, all these congressmen and senators and everybody else, they have homes in their home states so they can go home for weekends there. They're in Washington. It's not their home. It's not their residence. But I want to tell you a story. There was the king of Saudi Arabia opened up a new golf club, big golf club. And he invited all the big golfers, like 100 of them. And they all played golf. They played the game, and he invited everybody to the palace for dinner. When they were there, he went around saying hello to all his guests. And he said, hi, everybody. And when he got to this famous guest, Arnold Palmer, he's one of the greatest golfers of all time, he says, Mr. Palmer, what would you like? Ask me anything, and I would like to give it to you. Arnold was just shaken. The king asked him to give him a gift, and he had to think of it. He says, you know what? Give me a club. A club. The king says, okay, you'll have it soon. And Arnold Palmer went home, and he didn't think more of it. And when he was home, he was telling his wife the story. He says, you know what? This is a king. He's going to send me a club, maybe a fancy club, a great club, maybe a golden club. And every day he went to check his mail. One day, like 3 weeks later, a big red envelope comes. And in that envelope, it said, on the cover, on the front of the envelope, it said, it came from the king of Saudi Arabia. He opens up the envelope, and he sees that it's a deed to a golf club of 500 acres. Now, what's the moral of this story? A king understands differently than what we understand. He just wanted a regular club to hit. The king says, no. In my brain, a club is a golf club. And when I was ready to give up and saying, I just asked to win the election, I asked to help people. Truth of the matter is, I have to believe in God. God knows better. He thinks, I know I'm preaching God on the show. I'm not preaching God. What I'm telling you is that your belief in God, your belief that things are set in the right motion and track. And I want to tell you something. There was a homeless man, and this is what he said. And it was like a great few lines. I want to read it to you. He said, it's a good thing that God Almighty never went on strike because of unfair treatment of things he did not like. Should he ever once sit down and say that I'm through, I had enough of those on earth, this is what I will do. He would give orders to the sun and say no more heat supply, and tell the moon give no more light, then run the oceans dry. And just to make things double tough and put the pressure on, he will cut the air and oxygen till every breath is gone. For all he will be justified if fairness was his game, for no one has been more abused and treated with disdain. But yet he carries on, providing for you and me with all goodness of his grace and everything for free. But people say we want a better deal, and so on strike we go. But what a deal we're given, God, who everything we owe. We don't care who we hurt or harm to gain the things we like, but what a mess we'll all be if God would go on strike. So I said to myself, you know what? Look at me, a little guy, and if God can keep going with all the unfairness and give us all these wonderful gifts of this beautiful world and life, I'm not going to stop. And that's why my favorite quote today. I keep going, not because I wanted to trust. I don't even know what I'm saying here anymore. I kept going not because I wanted to trust to be trusted. I kept going because I deserved to know what not giving up on myself felt like. And that's what it is. I'm not giving up. I want to give up many times. I sometimes struggle. You know, we were called to court by Felder. We beat him in court. When we went to the Board of Elections, they said, you know, you didn't print your name on the bottom. We're throwing you off the ballot. I had to run back, and they wouldn't even help us. I'm sitting in the Board of Elections, and I'm watching 15 people do nothing. Really sit around, do nothing. Oh, he's checking the petitions. She's sitting over there making change for quarters. And I'm sitting there today. The judge made us go do a line by line because Simcha Felder cheated on the election. Somehow, some way, he found out the date to collect signatures a day before all of us. How did he know that? Today we were looking over the petitions that the signatures that he got, and the Board of Elections gave us signatures, and there was a page missing. Today that page was there. How did those signatures get in there? We don't know. We're saying it's election fraud, but we have no proof. But we have copies that we paid to the Board of Elections. It wasn't there. They said the Board of Elections makes mistakes. When I was at the Board of Elections commissioner thing, they told me, well, you didn't put down the name of the contact person. I said, I put down Mr. Felder. They said, you have to put his lawyer down too. We went through 2,300 of his signatures. He's down to 300. He collected signatures a day before. It's against my constitutional rights that he had unfair advantage. And then he submitted his signatures in the next day to cheat, so we couldn't collect those same signatures. So he filed those signatures. And because we couldn't go out to collect it. Remember, you can't print the signature page till you know the day the mayor announces it. And the mayor didn't announce it on January 2nd till 7 p.m. His lawyer says, well, we guessed. You're telling me that lawyer guessed $36,000? That's what they were going to do. He says, we would throw away the signatures if we were wrong. He was going to blow $36,000. All he gets is $202,000 from the government. He was going to blow 25% of his budget, almost 25% of his budget, just on one day. Mr. Felder is a cheat. Mr. Felder is a do-nothing senator. He's going to give up a district that we fought so hard so the Democrats can put in a leftist. And this is the person you want. People call me, make fun. Why are you running against Felder? Go ahead. Vote for him. What do you want me to tell you? But I'm not going to give up because I know what my duty is to you. Let me give you a joke. Maybe I can make you laugh. When my oldest son, Avram, my first son, he became 4 years old, and we excited him about school. You're going to school, you're going to school. We took him to daycare, play care. But this time he was going to school, and he was going on a bus. And we stood outside, me and his mother, and it was the first day of school. And that morning we all waited anxiously for the bus to come. And then finally the bus arrived. And he got up, and all of a sudden I heard Linda, his mother, say something like, as he passed the bus driver, tears were coming out his throat, out of her eyes. She says, "What about a kiss?" And Avram stopped, retraced a few steps, promptly kissed the bus driver, and then took a seat. We always told him to be nice to people and kiss older people, whatever. Well, I thought that's a funny joke. I hope the laugh track went on. I guess not. He's not paying attention to the show. Anyways, it was a very funny joke. He's pointing his finger. I want you to push that. That was a right there. Come on, you two people. Wasn't that a funny joke? I want you to know something. We put Mr. Trump We impeached him twice. And I want to listen to this. There was a General Miley that went, while he was a general, while he worked for Trump, he went and contacted China and told them secrets and told them about our military. That is treason. He should be arrested. Instead, we wanted to arrest Trump. They came after every one of our nominees. Pete Hegestat, RFK. This man, they're saying, has no experience in vaccines and healthcare. He sued all of them. He knows them. He studied them. He'd be the best one to make sure our vaccines are lower, make sure to verify that they're working good. Thank you, RFK. I'm so happy the president chose you. Wow. And this beautiful new attorney general, what's her name? Pam Bondi. You know, they tried to knock her. She's great. Now look at what she's doing. She's now going to make sure. Listen to this. I love this so much. This lady. She's issuing a flurry of orders on day one that to change the entire department, the DOJ, the entire. She's among the orders. She setting up a task force to examine the weaponizing of the Justice Department, to rein in investigations into foreign influence. I mean, she's great. She's going to check out, I'm hoping, she's going to check out Bragg, and she's going to check out Jack Smith. I mean, these guys are just crazy. And I'm so happy they fired. You know, they were interviewing a couple of these prosecutors that were fired by Trump. They're saying, are you scared for your life? Really? Are you scared for your life? You really believe we're going to kill you? Look how crazy they are. Schumer and AOC every day in front of the newspapers, now in front of the news reporters, all crying and screaming and hollering every day. Now nobody's listening to them. Now we see they're all wrong. And now they're complaining about the eggs, which they raised the prices. Now they're complaining about everything, every stupid thing. We're not even a thing. They're complaining that we're firing federal workers. Listen to this. Trump is going to save $1 trillion on our budget with Elon Musk by cutting for nonprofit organizations that are just not doing anything for us. They're just sucking money from us, and they're all ready to sue. He's firing or letting employees go home that do nothing, and he's telling all government employees, come on back to work. If you're not coming back to work, you're fired. Let me tell you something serious. You know that the IRS has 149,000 agents. Do you know that they have not paid taxes? They owe over $1.5 billion to the government. They're tax cheats. And it's steadily increasing. Tens of thousands are repeat tax cheats, for failing to file tax returns year after year after year. And this is a recent audit by their own agency. And look what they're doing. They're forcing hard-working Americans like you and me to pay the salaries of these tax-evading cheats. And they're weaponizing these tax cheats against us. What's this hypocrisy? It's just unreal. To be clear, taxpayers are being forced to pay billions more to the IRS to audit Americans, while the agency won't collect the tens of millions of dollars in unpaid taxes by their own employees. And do we need another reason to hate the IRS? Wow. Tulsi Gabbard, she's just great. And she went on right away. She says, you're going to talk bad about me. You're going to knock me. She served this country. She was overseas. She was in Afghanistan. And you should have seen the way they spoke to her with disrespect, these Democrats. I don't know. I just want you to know this is something that is personal to me. Trump signed an executive order that transgender cannot exist in female sports anymore. He said it. He's kept his word. He's kept his word about everything that he's doing right away on day one. Executive orders with the illegal immigrants. Okay? Now, the Schumer and the rest of them are all upset that we're going to deport these immigrants. First of all, we're deporting violent immigrants. Illegal, undocumented, violent, criminal immigrants. That's who we're going after. You're right. Birthright children in America. I don't agree with President Trump, and he's not going to win, and he knows that. Once they're born on American soil, they are Americans. I can't agree with everything that President Trump says. He's a great man, and he's very smart, and he knows how to make deals, and he's making deal after deal after deal. And that's what he does. He's trying to save us. I have an idea for President Trump. You know, we support Japan's security. We owe Japan $1.1 trillion. Why don't they pay us? You know, everybody's screaming about Canada and Mexico tariffs, and you know why they caved in? The reason they caved in because they don't have a great military. And you know why? Because we keep them safe with our military. We are all over their borders. They should be paying us. We spend billions, trillions of dollars protecting Canada and Mexico. That's why they don't have any issues. And I'm happy they're caving in. Panama. Yes, Rubio went there to threaten them. You are making deals with China above us. You're working with China. We save you. We give you money. President Trump has stopped U.S. aid for foreign countries right now. Great. Trillions of dollars. Money that should come here. Money that will lower our food prices. Money that will lower our gas. Money that will lower our cost of living. Money that he can put back into the economy to make our lives better. That's what it's made for. Anyways, if you have a question, call into the show, 646-974-1580. 646-974-1580. They're saying that Trump is a dictator, that a coup is happening. Really, guys? Democrats, Republicans out there, are you watching him? Are you seeing what's going on? Do you see a coup? The man is talking to different people. He even invited Fetterman, a Democratic senator, to come to Mar-a-Lago to talk to him. You're right. This senator is a great senator. He agrees with President Trump on the immigration for violent criminals. Let's see. Any questions? Somebody said hilarious, but I don't know what that means. Oh, somebody liked my joke. Thank God somebody liked my joke. My producer didn't like it. What we're going to talk about is you do know there was a big airplane accident in Washington over Reagan Airport, whatever you want to call it. Now, a Black Hawk helicopter, which has their air traffic control, which has their guidance systems to avoid stuff. You have the airplanes that have the same thing with the air traffic controllers. It's restricted airspace. This accident should have never happened. How did this happen? Somebody saying transgender, DEI, something like that. The point is this accident shouldn't have happened. If this little accident happened the most secure with air traffic controllers not being on the same radio wavelength, come on, you have to double check. When I start a show, we triple check. We triple check our mics. When I go to inspections, I triple check my plans and paperwork. When I go to court, I triple check stuff. And even then, everything's not perfect. But still, you've got to be triple checking it. You got to make sure you're on the same frequency. And if there's something wrong, then stop it. They're saying they weren't on the same frequency. They're coming up with excuses. Something is funny. Something is fishy here. I know, Heshy, another conspiracy. I don't know what to tell you. Everywhere you look, it's just there's no answers. There's no real answers. I want answers. I want to make changes. Our subway system. Do you know how many new subway stops that we've created in the last, 30 plus years? 4 of them. The one of the stops that we just created was costing us over $2 billion. One subway stop. To dig a mile of transit train stuff, it costs $1 million. The Europeans that build the same kind of railroads and underground subways cost 10%. 10% of what we spend. If we're able to do, because everybody wants a piece of the action. Delay, costs more money while they sit there and pay these employees big money to go underground. And they deserve it because it's a dangerous job. We can be building 10 more stops for the price of one. We can go faster. But again, people are taking a piece of the action. People are overpricing us. Our subways, we can be building hundreds or more miles of subways and make things run. We're getting $15 billion from congestion. I have no problem paying congestion pricing if they upgrade the subway system instead of just fixing the elevators. That's all they do. They're not upgrading the subway system. There's not more safety. $15 billion. Now, let me tell you, we spend on the entire police force $8 billion. Where's this $15 billion going? It's not going to really go to upgrade the subways. Let's be honest with each other. So they're going to take the money, give it to places again. All over Borough Park, they keep digging streets, stopping our streets. These guys are just ripping up things. They're billing us like you've never seen before. I've never seen so much work going on. Somebody won a big contract there, and most of the houses in my neighborhood have been redone, and we ourselves have to fix this street. That's part of the law. When we rebuild our house, we have to dig up the street and put in new waste lines and water lines and sprinkler lines. They're digging it up and redoing it. Billions of dollars. And you know what? That's what we're going to do. We're going to vote Andrew Cuomo back into office as mayor because everybody's really thinking serious about it. We might even put Jumaane Williams in. Now, this guy who does nothing, another winner, complained about Mayor Adams going under anesthesia, and he had to be informed of it. This is not the president. He doesn't have any major secrets. So he's trying to hold the mayor responsible for not telling him, because he's number two if the mayor resigns, he had to tell him that he's going on anesthesia so he can replace him for the day. We don't need you to be replaced. We have deputy mayors. This is not the presidency with a vice president. Another winner, Jumaane Williams. I hope you guys don't vote him in. I mean, he has no chance anyways, but he's running for mayor. So my election is simple. I'll be going up. We're doing the signatures. Out of the 2,300 signatures, we've already knocked off over 1,000. The Board of Elections gave them back to 1,180 signatures. And then they disqualified because the cover sheet doesn't have all the information. So again, we're in court because we countersued him. And we now got him. He's now only has a total of, out of the 1,500 signatures that we've counted, he only has 280 good ones, or almost 300. Now, you're right, there's still another 1,000 signatures to count, and his numbers are real bad. But even at 10%, most likely he'll hit the 450 number. We're still going to go to the judge and try to fight the January 2nd signatures, that it's not fair that he had an upper hand and we feel they should throw it out. But this is a man who doesn't live in our community, a man who cheats for himself, a man who only wants to, who didn't do anything right the first time that he was counseling. He was the one who voted for congestion pricing. He was the one who voted to raise our taxes in the state. And this is the guy you want to put into power? I had an argument today with an organization that I really liked, and I donated a lot of money. And the guy, and I said to him, just give me a receipt for my taxes. He didn't want to give it to me. And then he says, you promised us $2 more grand. I said, you know how much money I gave you? I said, what did Mr. Felder do? He said, Mr. Felder gave us 30 grand. I said, really? From his own foundation? No, he got us a grant. It took him 3 years to get the grant. I keep giving you every year. Ungrateful, this organization. I'm just so unhappy with them. And it's not only him. So that's what depresses me sometimes, because it's not only me. It's so many other places that don't follow the rules, or when somebody helps you, you've got to be cordial. You've got to be good back to him. There's a district leader that was friendly with me. And I've been very friendly with him till now. And then I had a fight with this guy, Lenny Mark, who works for Kalman Yeager, Simcha Feldman. He's always going after us, attacking us, making false claims. And when I was there in the courtroom, he starts screaming, "You're a felon, you're a convict, fraud." I mean, that's all he did. I mean, I explained to them that, look, I've been arrested. I didn't steal any money from anybody. My fraud was that I signed the paper and somebody forged my name and I wouldn't cooperate with the government. That was my fraud. I keep explaining it. But he just knew how to embarrass me. And the judge at the end of the day agreed with me on a lot of my stuff. I got up and argued my case. This guy's just vicious. And then he got angry that I said, you're a Jewish guy with a Christmas tree? He says, no, it's a New Year's tree. I never heard of a New Year's tree. Did anybody ever hear of a New Year's tree? Did you ever hear of a New Year's tree, YouTube? I never heard of a New Year's tree. If there's such a thing, then I'd like one, because there's no such thing as a New Year's tree. Even whatever. I'm not going to even argue about it. But this is a guy who's insulting, who wants to keep his little job. So this other district leader, I don't want to say his name, says, oh, you can't fight with him. And now I think that he gave out secrets. And he's my friend. He plays the game like he's our friend. He never did anything for me. He got me some tickets to the Trump inauguration, which were no good at the end of the day. But again, this is a guy that made promises, and then he's best friends with my enemy, and then he tells me that I can't insult him, but he insults me. And then when I show him texts and videos of how the guy insulted me, he says, oh, you went off the rack. I said, of course I did. I fight back. I defend other people. Of course I'm going to defend myself. That's what I do. I defend myself. I defend my citizens. I defend Donald Trump. I defend New York City. When I get into city council office, my first objective is to look over that budget. First thing to make suggestions of shrinking our government. I'm going to show them the first thing of saving $4 billion in the budget. And then when they don't do it, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell all of you who denied it and why they're not doing it. Because they get a piece of the action at the end of the day. Here's a man, Mr. Felder, who did not pay any capital gains on the house that he sold. And do you know why? Because the house that he bought so many years ago for like $30 or $50 or $200,000, he did a lot of repairs on. You know, and I know he's lying. He's going to get away without paying taxes. And he bought himself a house in Jersey. You're telling me a man who had 6 bedrooms and he still works and he has a little apartment on Ocean Parkway, terribly furnished, at least furnish it nice. So you know that it's not a real apartment. Elon Musk, with the Doge agency, the department that they started, is purging agencies and will reduce our budget by another $1 trillion. Now let's figure this out. Donald Trump is going to save us $1 trillion. Musk is going to help save him $1 trillion. Plus, with the foreign aid, if we cut off to the wrong people, another $1 trillion. And then Donald Trump beautifully told Ukraine, listen, we'll give you money, but we want some of those minerals. We want you to secure our aid with minerals. We don't want you giving it all away. We want some of it. Pay us back. Let us make a profit. This is the way a president should be. This is the way a government should run. Wow, these 2 weeks is like a whirlwind. And he hasn't stopped. This man has more energy than I could believe, and he doesn't want to give up, and look how he made it. So, when I told you that story about the king in the beginning of the show, I know the king of kings. I shouldn't be complaining. I should know that he'll know my direction. He'll set me right. He'll make sure that I'm in the right direction, and hopefully I will win. And if you want to help me win, you Instagram, my YouTube fans, you should go to the HeshyTishler.com website, HeshyTishler.com. You can click on my donation link. You could, it's on the screen for all you, not Instagram can't see it this week, but it's on the screen, and you can go to my website and donate $10 or $20 or $30. You can come help us on Election Day on March 25th. Just do whatever it can. I have to collect new signatures on February 28th. Come down, help me collect signatures door to door. I don't need you all day long. Come for 2-3 hours. I can use 100 of you out there. Come out. If each one of you collect 10 good signatures for me, that's boom. I'm on the ballot. Here's a good story for you. There's a Coast Guard admiral called Linda Fagan. Now, she was responsible for the Coast Guard to protect our borders. And as you can tell, the illegal immigrants, drugs coming in all the way. So President Trump fired her. You're fired. Now she's living in a house on a beautiful house. They evicted her. And she's all upset they only gave her 3 hours to move out. They told her when President Trump came into office 2 weeks ago, you're fired, get out. She didn't. She kept living there after she was fired. So they came and told her to get out. And they gave her another place to stay, but they weren't going to give her this nice house that an admiral needs. Goodbye, Linda Fagan. You did a terrible job. And I'm sure all of you agree with me. Also, no remote jobs. I agree with that. We should have no remote jobs in New York City either. No New York City employees should be working remotely. The governor said that already. Finally, she's giving in. The mayor has said that. Why aren't they returning yet? In my office, there's no remote jobs. You're right. I let them sometimes when they're not well to work remotely, but you have to come in. You have to come in. You have to come to the office. There's no remote work. You want to wear a mask? Go ahead. Go sit in your room. I have one person like that. I don't say anything about it. I understand what's going to happen now. President Trump is going to get lawsuit after lawsuit of people saying, I'm fired. Oh, I don't have my job. Your job is not needed anymore. If your job is not needed, goodbye. People do shrink their companies. People do downsize. And the government is too big. We need to downsize. And if we're able to downsize your unit or your job, that means we don't need you. The president gave these federal employees a chance to take early retirement, especially the IRS agents, who a lot of them don't pay taxes. 149,000, and they just come after us. And most of us pay our taxes anyways. Most of us are pretty good about it. We deduct here a little extra, a little there, but pretty much like me and Linda, we pay it right, and they just punish us. They find ways to get an extra $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 out of us. Why? Because they're not paying their right taxes. They know all the tricks. This whole IRS people, I hate them. So anyways, these international development contractors and are ready to do lawsuits based on lost income. What lost income? America is losing money. America is losing money. We can't afford to keep paying people who do nothing, or we don't need you. If your job is moot, go get a real job. Have you gone to a government agency lately, anybody? Really, they sit around, do nothing. I can't reach them sometimes. I just got a reply from the Department of Buildings 2 months after I submitted finished paperwork that he told me to prepare for 2 months. It's 4 months, and then finally he gave me a reply, oh, you have some objections. I said, what took you so long to read 3 pages? I was busy. That busy? Now I have to take 2 more months to redo everything he told me what to do. These guys do nothing half the time. They go home early. They take off. They're off holidays, weekends. And when they want to make extra money, they do overtime pay. They get more holiday vacation time, and they use it as credit. Stop it. When I get into city council, this will stop. I will make sure that will stop. By the way, I want to thank God for some of the hostages coming back. We didn't get a lot back, but we got even one back is a lot. And I know the little baby and some other ones, there's no way they only gave back so less than 20, and they're negotiating the second part of this ceasefire agreement and hostages coming back. Why couldn't they just agree already? Ask what you want. We'll give you what you want, but you're asking for crazy stuff. But Israel is a great place to go. No matter what you people think, United Airlines just started flying there again. Israel is a safe and great place to go, better than Miami, even though the reason I go to Miami because it's only 2 hours away or a day by driving. But you're right, I love Israel. I'm going to go to Israel. After I win the election, I'm going to go to Israel, pray at my father's grave in the Holy Wall, and thank them for my win, because I'm going to win this time. I'm hoping my community understands, because a lot of them are calling me, why is Simcha Felder running? He's state senator. He just won the election less than 2 months ago. What's he doing? I don't know what to answer. I keep telling him because of his pension. He doesn't want to go to Albany. He hasn't gone to vote in 3 years. He's made no legislation in 4 years. Now, here's a guy who you see has done nothing. You reelected him, and you want him in city council for what exactly? He doesn't show up half the time, and he lives in Jersey. And he goes, and he's like Biden in his basement with Zooming. That's who you want? Okay. There's nothing I could tell you. And I'm not agreeing. Don't think I'm giving up and I'm agreeing to it. I'm not. I don't agree at all. Like, now Saudi Arabia said to President Trump, no deal. Having, what was it? What was your words again? Saudi Arabia is not going to be willing to have ties with Israel unless there's a two-state deal with the Palestinians. And Trump says, no, I want to take over Gaza. I'm going to make Gaza nice. I'm going to make it a great vacation area. It will be like the Riviera. I was watching his news conference, the Riviera in the Middle East. And it is. It was a great place. Israel left it as beautiful. They have beautiful beaches. They have a chance to build a great canal. It's a beautiful area, warm, nice. What did they do? We can't let Hamas get it back. We can't let the Palestinians get it back. He's not throwing out the Palestinians. He's telling the neighboring countries, you take a few. We'll bring them back. We'll rebuild. Israel has 2 million Palestinians living there that are happy. The rest of them that are not happy are living in Gaza or Palestine. And they're dangerous. Israel's not going to approve them. We vet our new citizens. And even then we miss. And they bomb and they blow up and they kill. And every day the Israeli forces and police forces are looking for cells and terrorists and smuggling in. I don't know how they live that way. So when I complain about my little overwhelming of Simcha Felder and the court suing me and the cops following me, and I know you all think I'm joking, but actually see it. Every day you'll see that they check my websites. I mean, Simcha Felder actually called my rabbi 4 times to complain and says, I'm not allowed to tell you about it. I said, you didn't sign the agreement. And then he says he did sign it, and somebody said he sent it back to me. But you didn't follow the agreement. That's who Mr. Felder is. He's a politician, a player. I'm not a player. I know you guys are not players. Most people out there are not players. We're honorable people, just that we try to get ahead and we can't, so we're trying to at least stay safe. Some of us are just happy to be at 0, not below 0, because it's bad. And you think it's bad? Eggs cost $2 normally, $3. Now it's $7. Which means that extra breakfast in the morning, or those extra snacks for the kids, or that $5 extra or $10 extra a week that you spend, that's $40 a week, that's $500 a month, that's 2 electric bills, maybe even 3. I was at the bank this week, and I was parked a little bit in the crosswalk, not even a few inches, and I come running out. I said, lady, I said to the ticket lady, I'm not really in the crosswalk. Well, go fight it. I said, come on. I mean, you have no heart. I started writing the ticket too bad, $115. I said, really, I'm not in the crosswalk. I'm not blocking anybody. Well, that's why we have the white line. You should know better. I do agree, but I don't agree. You have to have compassion. You have to have understanding for what the other person is. Not everybody could do everything perfect. You have triple parking. Today I'm driving the car on 16th Avenue, and a big truck stops, and on the other side there's another truck. He just stops, and I tell him we want to pass. He says, I have to unload. I said, we have to wait 20 minutes for you to unload? Go around the corner, find another spot and drag it there. That's your job. We're not part of your job. That's what the ticket agent should be doing. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what do you want me to tell you? Do I have solutions? Yes. Do I have solutions on parking? Yes. Do I have solutions on the budget? Yes. And all of you have it, because I keep getting people giving me advice all day long, telling me what to do, how to run for election, how to fight the city. Call this agency off. Heshy, can you help us over here with an illegal bar? Heshy, can you help us with the police? Somebody's arrested. And the system is so terrible. To go through the system is like crazy. Landlords keep getting screwed. But the big landlords know how to get away with it. You know what I mean? Some of them are just crazy. And they support these politicians and give them money because they get tax breaks. Or their big buildings are able to get some kind of deferred payments because they do very small or they get approved for low-income housing, and they never actually give it to low-income housing. Or they move one tenant from one building to that building, and then the other building goes up higher in rent. This is a game that they play, and they get tens of millions of dollars in tax breaks as well. People don't know the game. This has to stop. I will stop that completely. Same way with the nursing homes. They are murderers. So is Cuomo. Everybody says, Heshy, you can't say that. I have to tell you that. I know people who to this day complaining to me that they lost their parents. And it wasn't 20 years ago or 10 years ago. It was now. It was right now, 2-3 years ago. People still are complaining about the treatment that they got, not because of COVID they're sick. They're sick because they were mistreated and not taken care of in the hospital. I have somebody this week who called me from the hospital. Hey, they're mistreating me. They're not taking me. I had to go there. I had to come there and scream at the nurse. Say, why are you not treating this man well? Well, he's being very pesky and calling us every few minutes. I said, that's what a patient does. That's why you're hired. You're hired to take care of him. And if there's not enough nurses on the floor, get another nurse to help you. These people are sick. They're in the hospital for a reason. They need their medicines on time. They need to be taken to the bathroom. They want to at least be treated normal. And that's my point to you. You have to treat the other person with, even if they don't have money or they have money or they're rich or they're poor. If they're sitting at your table, you treat them if they're yourselves. And that's what I do. That's what I do every single day. And that's what I do with all of you people on the internet. I listen, when I was in front of the judge this week, she got angry. My lawyer was a few minutes late. And she says, Mr. Tishler, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, which usually court never starts before 10:30. This court started actually a half hour early instead of 10 o'clock, 9:30, which really they should start at 9 o'clock, And then they take an hour and a half lunch. Not an hour and a half lunch. She said, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. I said, Judge, I got up at 4:30. I volunteered this morning in the hospital, and I made it on time. She said, how come your lawyer's not here? I said, he's running late. The traffic is terrible. There's no parking in the neighborhood. We don't have a special judge's parking spot. They only know how to get angry and fine us and punish us and just go crazy. I was in a store, a beautiful store, and the guy had a small extension in the rear, and he just fixed it up. He didn't even renovate it. He painted it. He fixed the tiles on the floor. So this neighbor got angry that he was fixing the outside, the siding of it. He took off the old one, he fixed it, and they said he built a new extension, which he did not. It was in the plans. It was even an old complaint stating that he's exempt. First thing they did was give him a $5,000 violation. Go file a set of plans, another $20,000. Now, we're going to go to court and beat this violation, showing proof that it exists. But if our measurements are wrong by 2 or 3 feet, we lost. This guy is going to lose $20,000, $30,000. And it's all legit. And even if it's not, he's entitled to it. Don't make it so hard. And the reason why we have to spend so much money is because the city takes 6, 7, 8 months, a year. I have a guy waiting a year to build a legal extension. We just can't get it approved. The examiner's not in. Holidays he's taking off. Here's the objections. You didn't put this code of law in correctly. Now remember, I have to put in many, many codes of laws and rules, stopping a set of plans, and then I have to resubmit and re-upload. That's another month till they see it. They have so many employees. They make so much money, but they can't have enough people doing like plan exams or hiring more people. They have people sitting behind the counter who don't pick up the telephones. They have people pushing paper who you don't need today because everything is being uploaded. Mr. Feld, I'm going to close this show out by first of all, I'm going to close this show out by telling you simple. My opponent somehow got 188 donations in a 10-day period. Yeah, there was a few straggling maybe 2 days before and maybe a week later, but most of the basic donations came during that period, and nobody's investigating it. Those are straw donations. There's no way he got 188 people that in our community, in our district where he doesn't live, to give him that money. Something is wrong. I know I spoke to a few of them, and I called a few of them. And some of them told me that we were told to give back. Somebody gave me back my money. Some guy, Roth, told me I got back 2 of the donations. I'm not going to rat him out, but he's doing illegal stuff just to win. The man cheats, stealing donation. It's stealing money from the city because those donations should not be qualified. The man doesn't even live in New York City. He doesn't even live here. He has a little apartment. I support my community. I live in this community. I live in a house that I take care of. Of course I want a big backyard. Of course I want to live in Miami on the beach and drinking pina coladas all the time. But we live, we support, we live here. We want to serve our community. He wants to just get his paycheck and go away. I don't know, my dear friends. I don't know everybody. I know that Donald Trump doesn't do it, my YouTube friends. I know that Biden, thank God, is gone. Schumer, we got to get rid of Schumer. This guy's whacked. He still thinks he's in charge. Thank God we have 4 years of Republicans. He won't make it. I'm so happy he won't make it. And still, us New Yorkers are going to reelect him. Why, I don't know. Really, I don't know. He just gets up there, curses out Israel. He gets up there, he curses out everybody else on the planet. Approves illegal immigrants, has no idea of where the money is coming from. We ask him for the money, and he's not giving it to us. He's burdening us. He's raising our taxes while our people are getting food stamps and some other things for a few $100s. Immigrants are still getting thousands of dollars. We need to stop this. Our Attorney General, Letitia James, crazy. She's just suing everybody, even wants to go after Trump again. Why don't you go after the criminals? Why don't you go after the murderers? Why don't you go after the real cases? She's just suing, and where's that money going? Because it seems like we never have enough in New York City. You keep raising our taxes. Where are those billions of dollars that the pharmaceutical companies you got from? And the landlords you got from? Billions. I don't see it. I don't see it coming into the budget. It's made to pay all her lawyers, all her bills, all those other offices. By the time we get whatever we get, there's nothing left. Same way with the cameras. 25% goes to the state, 50% goes to the contractor, 25% goes to the city. Billions. Sorry, it's millions. But you're talking, there's so many cameras around New York City, they must be billing out $1 billion or more. Must be. I don't know. I would love to see their records. And when I get in city council, I will. Where is that money going? I don't even know where the money's going. It's supposed to go towards education. We have a problem with education today. I mean, let's again review public schools. Because I talked to some of those kids. They don't know how to read or write. It's a babysitting service, which is good. We do need to take our kids out of our house and send them to school to mingle with other children, like my grandson. We needed him in a school. We need him to mingle with other children. I got that. But we need him to be educated and taught. Again, half those teachers are tenured teachers that don't even know what they're doing. They just sit there. They don't know how to teach. They don't know how to do the extra hours. And when they do overtime hours, all they're doing is billing. They're not really taking care of those kids. You have a lot of good sports teachers and athletic directors. Some of them do care. But when they get a little bit older, they're tired. So retire. I know you're allowed to retire at 65, but if you can't make it at 50, retire. Find something else to do. Don't educate children that you don't know how to educate. I was a teacher. I was always in it. I was always excited with them. I knew they were wild. I knew they were crazy. I knew they were disrespectful. But that's what we do. We got to be involved. Know your job well. Know how to sell a customer. Know how to talk to the customers. It seems like I'm talking out of my behind because I'm trying to get elected, and I think I know how to talk to my constituents and the rest of you. But it seems like some of you don't listen, or they don't listen, or they listen and they have a good laugh. I don't know. I know I try. I try to explain myself clearly. I try to be serious. I try to care about the city. And I actually have a track record of what I do. I was talking today to a rabbi, and somebody's trying to introduce him to me and say, look what Heshy does. He says, we know what Heshy does. We just don't vote for him because the hierarchy So he told me the hierarchy doesn't approve him. We approve the other guy because they're able to get stuff out of him. Heshy's not going to give us anything. I will give if you need it or deserve it. I want to thank all the listeners from WSNR Radio for tuning in, WJPR in Miami, and WNEW FM. Thank you for listening to the show. We got a few more minutes to go. So I'm going to end the show very simple. Support our president. Look what he's doing. Don't listen to your Democratic friends that saying this is a coup, he's a dictator. Do you see that he's a coup, that is a dictator? The answer is no. Will things get better? The stock market fluctuates. It didn't fluctuate that much. 500 points down, 1,000 points up, 1,000 points down. The tariffs are important. People think that we're just trying to suck money from other countries. They suck from us. They bill us. We have tariffs on, they have tariffs on us. So our goods are more expensive. We need to be able to bill them back. Or no tariffs for nobody. You can tax the item to your own people, but don't tariff us to make us pay a piece of the action. You want to torture your own people, let the people fight it. But they tariff us, so it's time to fight back. And Mr. President is just, that's what you need. You needed a businessman there, a man who cares, a man he's making deals already. He got Mexico and Canada to cave. He got Panama to cave. These are countries that laughed at us. Mexico is putting 10,000 soldiers on the border, and our borders are, please, really? You know they're not going to do anything, but 10,000 people on the border. Thank God. Canada is putting people on the border, and they created a fentanyl czar. I don't know what that means. But they know, yes, drugs is coming in from Canada big time. Drugs, as you know, is coming in from Mexico with all those illegal immigrants. People are sneaking in from Canada, too. You don't even know that. We need to stop all this. And if President Trump can have a great year and stop all of this, do you understand how our pocketbooks will get better? How the economy will be here better? Our streets will have more money. Our sanitation will have more money. We'll have more police. We'll be able to stop the crazy gang members and robbing. Our police are not doing a good job. I'm sorry to tell you, I know they're good people that put their lives on the line. They're not organized. They have an $8 billion budget. We have 15 more billion coming in from congestion pricing that's going to an MTA that's not going to improve the subway systems. Let's talk again in a year from now and tell me if you see the MTA that has a $15 billion increase from the congestion pricing. Show me that they are better than they are now. I promise you they're not. I promise you they're not. All that's going to do is our fees will go up. I'm telling you, I've been driving to the city, and so is my kid. My tolls are just crazy. Every day, another $20, $30. I know you're laughing, Heshy, you have money. So, another $30 every single day, $150, $600, $7,000 a year in extra tolls. I can go on vacation. Now I can't go on vacation. I had a great time talking to you. I hope you felt what I feel. I had a great court on Monday. The Board of Elections cheated me on Tuesday. They just sit there, these commissioners, and I tried to argue, and they didn't even let me talk. Thank God I'm a paralegal with my lawyer, so they let me talk at the end, even though I'm the candidate. They threw me off the ballot because my address did not match my residence, which I was registered. Today, they're telling me that's only a candidate. A regular person can have a different address. You're not registered in the district or you're registered at a different address, that's acceptable. That's how Simcha Felder has it. He's getting information. There's something going with election interference. There's something with the Board of Elections. And you're going to see on election day, half of their machines won't work. People, when Carmen Yeager beat me on election day, he had 28 paper votes. Now, I didn't have any, but I took my sister in, and she couldn't vote, so they made her sign an affidavit. I should have had at least one paper vote. I didn't get one. They cheated.